And so today's topic is better reporting in GP 2013. So I just want to review today's agenda. So what we're first going to do is we're going to go through the reporting tools overview. There's a large number of tools available in GP 2013, and I just want to go through the different categories. And then the second point is we want to see what tool is the right one for the job. So because there's numerous reporting tools, picking the right one is sometimes a bit of a challenge. So just wanted to go over that quickly. And then personalizing your reporting, going into some reporting examples, and then, as always, we'll open it up for Q&A at the end. So the reporting tools in GP are really falling into three categories. The first one is ad hoc reporting. So this is what you're looking for, that needle in a haystack. Give me all the customers over, $30,000. Give me the transaction amount that's equal to $33,013.16. So these are all the go-to tools that you can go ahead and just get the query of the moment done. So one of the ones, though, is Microsoft Excel reporting. So Excel Report Builder comes with GP, and there's over a couple of hundred reports that have been written for that tool, and that's a tool that takes information from GP directly into Excel. In addition, there's Smartness. This tool's been around for a long time. It has somewhat of a cult following by now, but that's just a great go-to reporting, ad hoc reporting tool that has drill back into the application. The navigation lists have evolved over the last few versions, and these are pretty useful, and they also integrate both Excel Report Builder and SmartList into the views. And then, the inquiry windows, sometimes we dismiss them, but those are the places we can just get great information, whatever we're looking for, and they're woven all throughout the application. So in the in-depth reporting category, there's the Report Writer, which is a little bit of a legacy product. It's been around with GP since the beginning. But it's still used today, and it is a useful product, and so some of the reports are written in there. So if you want to modify your reports, you would use that tool. Okay, the GP data is cubed. So these are live data cubes, and there's 6 of them. There's 6 in the current version. There's 6 data cubes, and you can go ahead and use those to do pivot charts and pivot tables. Excuse me. Okay, and Management Reporter, that is the go-to tool that we're using for financial reports. It's a replacement for FRX. There's a direct conversion from FRX to Management Reporter, and that is definitely a robust application for all your financial reporting needs. And then Microsoft SQL Server Reporting Services reports. GP 2013 ships with practically 300 ready-made KPIs, charts, great-looking, highly formatted, repeatable reports that you can interact with. You can put parameters, and now it's woven all throughout the system. You can use it inside Navigation List, you can use it outside in Business Analyzer, you can use it from the home page, and you can modify them and extend them on top of what's already there. And then the final category is external-facing reports. These are the Microsoft Word templates. These are what are being used in the latest versions to do customer invoices, AR statements, and these can be emailed out. And then there's letter writing assistants, and these are just ways to write letters to your vendors, customers across a large category of them. And we'll go through these all during the demonstration today. Okay, so moving along. So this section over here, I want to focus on the ad hoc reporting tools, and they are Excel Report Builder, Smart Lists, the navigation lists, and the inquiry windows. Okay, so this is just something that's sort of for inspiration. This is a nice looking report that was done with Excel Report Builder, using information from GP and then leveraging it with all of the slicers that you can do inside the data slicers inside Excel. So now you've got a dashboard with a lot of interaction. You can go ahead and choose shipping methods or countries or the year you're looking for or what kind of order types, and then the dashboard will just be updated as you go ahead and do that. So these are some of the things that are possible just by using the tools that you already own and are included in the solution. Okay, so the first demonstration is going to be on ad hoc reporting. So I'm inside GP, and I just want to go into SmartList, and let's just go through. I know a lot of people are using SmartList and are familiar with it, but there's also, you can extend the functionality beyond it. So let's take a couple of simple examples and see how we can just weave them throughout the application. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to select customers. I'm going to get a list of all my customers, and I use the default view. Star just means give me, whatever's inside that view. And to there, I'm just going to add a single field. So I'm going to go into columns, and I'm going to add customer balance. Now you could scroll through, everything's sorted alphabetically, or if you know what it's called and you get to know this over time, then you can just type it in the top. And it'll search through the words as well, so if you just knew balance, you could do that as well. And now here's my customer balance, and I just simply add it to the report. Okay, perfect. So now what I want to do is I want to put a filter in here, and I want to say just give me the customers that are greater than, let's say, $50,000. So I'm going to go into search, and I'm going to put a restriction on there. I'm going to say customer balance is greater than, and I put 50,000, and I say okay. Okay, perfect. So now I have all the customers with balances greater than 50,000. And if I wanted to see more information about the customer, I can just double click and it'll take me into the customer card where I can go ahead and then run a slew of different reports over here. And in GP 2013, you can now assign reports to individual screens. Okay, so now I've got this saved, so now I want to go ahead and save it. So I'm going to go ahead and say customers, oops, if I can spell right, over 50K. Perfect. And I'm going to add it as both a favorite and a reminder. And I'm going to say give it to me where the number of records is greater than 0 and also display it as a queue on my home page. And then I say okay. Okay, so now let's get out of this for a moment. And let's pop this up, which is all my reminders, and just give it a refresh. Okay, and you can see now to my home page, customers over $50,000 has been added. So now this is taking SmartList, and now you can go ahead and just tie it to your home page. So anytime there's more than one record meeting this condition, it'll show on my to-do list as my reminders. And then all I need to do when I want to get into the information is just double-click here, and it pulls up the information for me. So that's just how you can go ahead and so you don't have to keep monitoring your SmartList, you can just tie it to the home page. Okay, so the next example, let's go ahead and stay inside this section here, but I'm going to go ahead and go back into my customers, and I'll choose all customers. That'll be good. Okay, so it's my job to go ahead and take care of the Minnesota customers. That's what I've been assigned for. So every time I go in to do a finder, I don't want to keep, go ahead and going through all the other customers that are not have anything to do with me. So I can use SmartList to go ahead and put a filter in. And I'll say state is equal to Minnesota. Perfect. And I'm just going to save it, and I'm going to call it MN Customers. And I just add as a favorite now. Okay, so now I can go into my inquiry screen. So I'll go into cards, and I'll go into my customer cards. And then when I'm using the finder here, I can go ahead and say I want to do it by favorites, and I want to do it by Minnesota customers. And now it's going to save that. And I can also go ahead and say, set that as the default view. So it means anytime I'm going to go anywhere in the system to enter a transaction or to do anything, it's going to always call that default view. So this is how you can go ahead and use SmartList to really, streamline the information you need and then tie it to all your inquiries and lookups. Okay. So if I take the customer balances inside SmartList, and we'll go back to our customers over $50,000. Sorry, it's under receivables. Oh no, it's under sales. What am I talking about? Okay, and here's my, okay, and I can pop this out to Excel. And so the information goes from GP right out to Excel, and it holds all the formatting. In addition to this, I could go ahead inside, so there's a companion product to SmartList where if you find you're more in Excel pulling the information down from GP, that you can go ahead and use what's called the Excel Report Builder reports. So if I take the information from SmartList and take it out to Excel, it's not a dynamic link, it's static, which means that I have to go back into SmartList, refresh it, and send it out to Excel again. So if there's some information that you need to do, like, daily cash receipts or bank balances, there's a whole host of things that are pretty useful. You can always go ahead and if we go ahead and just pull up this customer balance report, this is now taking the information from GP and putting it into Excel. So now I can start using some of the functionality that I know inside Excel 2013. So rather than getting all customers here, I can use some of the advanced filtering. I can say, give me the top 10, or maybe I want to do the top 15. Okay, so that filtered it nicely. And the difference between this and SmartList is suppose that I delete some of that records. It's pretty easy for me to get the information back. I just refresh all, or F5, and that's going to just go ahead and populate the information back again. I can also go ahead and take this information, I can put it into a nice little chart for myself, and that looks good. And we'll just put this chart over here. And now every time this information now is ready to be refreshed and charted, in just a couple seconds you're able to put something together. And then during the course of the day, as the information is changing in GP, I just have to go ahead and press F5 or whoops, sorry, I just need to refresh all. So I just need to go to Data and refresh all anytime I need to do it. And inside Excel 2013, you can now set refreshes to happen automatically. So you can say, do it every 2 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever be appropriate. So now I'm going to go ahead and just save this, and I'm going to save as. I'll put it in Computer, and I'll put it where I put all the rest of my reports. And I'll call it OK. And now let's get out of this and go back into GP. So if I go over to the sales area of GP, you can see that there's 2 items here. There's SmartList Favorites and Excel Reports. So SmartList Favorites is going to give me all my reports that fit that area, and including my Minnesota customers. I just created the customers over $50,000, and then you can open it up here. In addition, you have the Excel Report Builder reports here, and this will be by each application will have an Excel report area over here. And so I will see somewhere in this list my top 15 customers. It's just it's sorted alphabetically, so it'll be a little further down the list. But if I want to open up, actually we'll just take it from the top. We'll just do one of the ones that's already there. So I'll look at the top 10 customers. So you want to be able, you can go in here and you can open it up. So if you just double click on here, it'll take you right into Excel, and it's got the information in there, and it saves the formatting. So anything that you've done, in this case I put the filter on for the top 10, I inserted a little graph for myself, it'll hold this and will not overwrite it. So whenever you refresh it, it refreshes just GP's part of the information, and the rest of it is available for you to use, so you don't have to keep reformatting or adding new information into it. So that's sort of some of the pretty useful stuff just between SmartList Builder and SmartList and Excel Report Builder. And these are the navigation lists where if I'm going into customers, it just takes a moment to load all the customers. There's a bunch of customers in here. You can see all of my Business Analyzer reports, which we'll go over in a little bit, are actually showing up on this customer list. And this is just a handy place for me to go ahead and print statements for the people that are selected. As I'm changing this information here, you can see the receivables by customers changing, so the aging is being reflected as I pull more people in with more data. It's actually going to keep adding to those reports. And you can see the information down here with a hyperlink to get to the actual card itself. So that's the navigation list, and these are pretty useful, and they're all along the side over here. You can use them for Excel reports and for Smartness favorites, and to actually transact on a large number of customers simultaneously. And you can even create new customers and orders in here. Okay, so let me get out of this for a second, and let's just go back to our home page. And let's continue on to the next category. Okay. So the next area is in-depth reporting. And I mentioned the report writer. I'm going to skip over that for today's demonstration, but that's the legacy report writer that's inside GP. The analysis cubes are pretty cool, and I don't think that they're widely used. So I want to take a little bit of a deeper dive there. And then to go through some of Management Reporter as a financial reporter, and I'm going to leave that off to the side today as well. But that is available to you, and it ships with GP, so it makes boardroom quality financial reports. And it's got a great report viewer with comments in there. And also we'll take a look at some of the SQL Server Reporting Services reports. Okay, so let me go into that section now. Let's do a quick demonstration. Okay, so the Excel data cubes are more for pivot charts and pivot tables. Excel Report Builder is more for, when you want to get lists of information or you're looking for that. But if I go into Excel right now and I say I'm going to do a new report, I can pull in data from the live data cubes. So I'm going to say from other sources, and I do it from analysis services. All you need to know here is you need to know what the name of your server is. In my case, it's GP 2010-B. Okay, and now it's going to show me the cubes. So the cubes are across modules. So we'll stick with accounts receivable, but you can see you've got one for AA, you've got one for financials, which would be general ledger and banking. If you're using inventory, all of the data there is cube for item analysis. You also have payables and purchases, which is the purchase order information, receivables, and then sales order processing. So I'm going to choose receivables, and that looks good, so just finish up. And I'm going to do a pivot chart. Okay, perfect. So you can see the live cubes on the side here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the revenue receivable amount, and that just starts to populate it right from GP. And then I'm going to do customers by class and put that over there, and I will do by sales territory as well. And I'm going to move that into filters. Okay, so now I've got, in just a couple of seconds, I was able to do a pivot chart, and as the information changes inside GP, this will change. And I have the ability here to put filters in. I can go ahead and say, I'm only interested, and in this case, my classes look like they're by location. So I can choose just these two, and then I can also do it by sales territory, and I can say all or pull it down, so it's reading your information over there, or I could put it back again. And so in this way you can just start to do some analysis without having to rekey anything in. If I wanted to do a drill down, it's going to have all drill down into it, and you can see now it's bringing all the customers, and then I can eventually get into the transactions. So this is just a go-to tool, and it just needs to be installed. It's on the supplementary CD, so just make sure you ask your account manager to get it installed for you if you're not seeing it on your system. But it is a great way to do some quick analysis and get some great looking charts and reports for yourself. Okay, so now let's go back to the home page. Now Business Analyzer was introduced in the last release of GP, and which was GP 2010 R2. And so it was a program that was running outside of the GP homepage, and that still is the case. But you can now run it inside GP, and you can also string any of the reports off of a customer card. So let's go ahead and I'll show you a couple of the reports that we have. So if I do top 10 vendors by year-to-date purchases, and I go over here and I edit it, a lot of times they're going to have parameters. So I can go in here and say, okay, I really wanted the top 15, and I wanted it for last year or this year versus last year, but I'll just keep it for year to date. So usually along the side over here, look for some places that you can just go ahead and have the system, do some questions. So now what will happen is that I can drill into the data. I can also, because these are SSRS reports, you can go ahead and do any of the actions that you're used to under export. You can do it to a variety of different places. Now I can double click into the information here. And you can see the questions along the side over here. So I'm going to say give me to 2017, and I really just want invoices. I mean, I could look for payments for this, but there's going to be reports on top of reports on top of reports, and now I can actually go in there and get myself to the actual document number. Once I click on that, that's going to take me right into the GP application. So like SmartList, these reports will drill you into the information that you need, and here's the transaction. So you can see that transaction for 93.80 it brought up. I can see the distribution or see whatever it is that I need to see for it. Okay, so let's go back to another report over here because I'll show you a couple of other things that we can do. So in this case, it's doing sales across the country. So this is just a great visual representation of how my sales data looks across there. I can see, California's not happening, but this is Minnesota looks pretty robust. So you can just double click in there. When I hover over it, it shows me the dollar amount. If I double click in here, it's going to show me the people that are making it up. And if I want to take a deeper dive into one of the vendors, and I want to say, wow, this looks like 169, I'd like to see how that looks as part of the aging. Now you can see it's flashing on the bottom. So now the customer information is up. Now I've gone ahead and I've assigned different reports here. So if I wanted to go ahead and just get a quick aging of that dollar amount, how does it look? So I've assigned a number of different reports to the actual customer screen. So it just means that I don't have to hop in and out of places. So now it'll go ahead and just give me an aging where I can go ahead and see, okay, great. I can see that, a lot of it is, some of it is past due and some of it is, I called up a different customer, but I can get a sense of the aging just right from the customer screen without having to leave it. Okay, so those are some of the things you can do with both the analysis cubes and the SSRS reports. And the SSRS reports, you can select which ones you want from the Customize This page, and you can just go ahead and select what reports you want. On the left-hand side, it'll show you all the available reports, and then on the right-hand side, just insert any ones you want, and then you can scroll through them as part of your homepage experience. Okay, so moving on, let's see what we have. So let's go back to the PowerPoint, and the next area is some external-facing documents. So these are basically two categories. There's Word templates, and these are the replacement, the report writer for doing customer-facing documents and even vendor-facing documents. So we can make all of our functionality in Word using the GP data. And then there's a letter writing assistant as well, and that actually can tie into Smartness. So what I'll do is I'll take a deeper dive into those two items right now. So let's go over to GP. And here we are here. So under the reports area, there's the template maintenance. And you can choose a form. In this case, I'm choosing the sales order form. And you can see you can assign it both. You can have multiple forms for a single document. So I can have multiple invoices, multiple sales order forms, multiple check formats or remittance advices. And then all you need to do is assign it. You can assign it both to a company and a customer. So you can assign it to customers or customer classes, and this way there's a lot of flexibility with this, and this way different customers templates can look different. So you can present the same functionality in there, but they have a slightly different presentation. And whenever we need to go ahead and modify this, we just go, it's going to take us into Word. And so what this is basically doing is it's like a mail merge. So we are going ahead and assigning GP information inside here. So the time of printing or rendering the invoice, it's using the power of almost like a mail merge inside Word to use the GP data. But what this means is that whenever I wanted to put shading or formatting or put the bold inside there, I know how to do it already because I know how to use Word. So it makes maintaining and modifying these templates pretty easy. If I wanted to insert a logo, then it's pretty easy because I already know how to insert objects inside Word. So we're leveraging all your skill set of the Microsoft Office suite with GP now in a very relevant way. Okay, there also is the ability here to go ahead and do letter templates. So I have a letter writing assistant. So I can go ahead and say next, and I'm going to use an existing letter that I've already created, and I'll use it under the customer. And I can either do a range of customers or I can do a Smartness selection. In this case, I'm going to call up all of my Illinois customers, and I'm just going to thank them for their business. And so here's all the individual letters I've got set up, and I just say next, and I can unselect anyone I don't want, and I'm going to sign it, myself. And I'm the accounting manager. And finish. Okay. And here it's gone ahead and prepared all the letters for me inside Word. So you can also do this directly from some of the GP screens. So if I go into cards, for instance, and I go into purchasing and I look at my vendor screens, and I call up a vendor, and I need to request a W-9. So I can go into Write Letters and prepare a vendor letter just specific for this one, a request for a W-9, and that finishes up, and I have my letter there right on the spot. And you see, there you go. So once you get these templates set up and then you use Smart List or you go into the individual vendor or customer cards in there, it makes it really easy just to go ahead and get some correspondence going or communicate with your vendors, and of course these all can be emailed out.